So recently, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio Cortez has been a lot in the news. She proposed the Green New Deal, which is pretty absurd. If you don't know yet what the new Green Deal is, basically by Ocasio Cortez's own words, is a legislation that will set goals for some really drastic measures, from cutting carbon emissions across the economy, from electricity generation to transportation to agriculture. Also, by this deal in the process, it will create jobs and boost the economy. So this proposal has a pretty ambitious goal, while also paying special attention to poor communities that are disproportionately affected by massive economic transition, like those that the Green New Deal is calling for. Also, it's important to say that this is a non-binding resolution, which means that even if it were to pass, it wouldn't itself create a new program. But also, that's just on paper. This deal has a lot of problems, which will be discussed by Ben Shapiro in this clip. Let's watch it.
So, Michael Grunwald is a senior staff writer for Politico magazine. Let's get real. The United States is not going to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions in 10 years, the key goal of the Green New Deal resolution unveiled Thursday. More real talk. Americans won't get 100% of its power from zero emission sources within a decade either. Another audacious Green New Deal goal. And we're not going to upgrade the energy efficiency of every single building in the country, as the resolution proposes. If we were getting all our energy from zero emission sources, it wouldn't even make sense to try. But here's one more reality check. None of it matters. The official rollout of the Green New Deal on Thursday was met with a barrage of skepticism from well-intentioned fact-checkers, badly intentioned climate trolls, and desperate-to-look savvy pundits, all focusing on the logistical and political impossibilities of transforming the economy as rapidly as the Green New Deal envisions. And they're right. Its goals really do seem impossible to achieve. But they're all missing the point. If anything, they're helping the Green New Deal's backers make their point, which is that climate change is an unprecedented emergency. Okay, no, that's actually not what happened here. This is basically just it's just a version of Republicans' pounds. That's all this is. It's a version of AOC put out something so ridiculously stupid that it makes her sound as though she was dropped multiple times on her head as a baby. I mean, this proposal is so bad, it can only have been written by somebody who is mentally deficient in some way. It is a seriously ridiculous proposal on its face. On its face. No sane person could think otherwise. And so the comeback from the media is, well, you guys are pouncing. Because the real point is to open minds. That's the real point, is to make you think. To make you think. You know, it's a thought, it's a conversation. It wasn't meant seriously. You know, like co-sponsored by six senators and 60 Congress people. No, it wasn't meant seriously. It was meant to open your mind and broaden your horizons. Like, I'm sorry, this isn't some sort of trip to Europe junior year of college. This is a legislative proposal that envisions redoing the entire United States economy. By the way, if we were to do all the things in this proposal, you know what it would do to climate? Presumably nothing. Seriously, nothing. Because if you actually spec out the impact on climate, if the United States were to achieve full zero emissions, you know what would happen? Over the course of the next century, it would lower the global temperature, according to the IPCC, by something like 0.2 degrees Celsius. Why? Because it turns out that the real threat to the climate, if you believe in climate change, man-made climate change, the real threat to the climate is coming from not industrialized countries at this point, but developing countries like China and India, who have no interest whatsoever in lowering their emissions. So none of it makes any sense. But that's not the only idiotic media take today. There's also the New York Times, which can always be counted on to cover for the stupidity of Democrats in their reporting. We'll get to that in just a second. First, let's talk about how you protect your internet usage. Let's talk about your online security and privacy. So maybe you're one of these people who has things that you don't want people to know about, like you wouldn't want American Media International actually coming after you. Well, maybe you actually want to protect your data from hackers and spies. I don't want my emails compromised or my credit card number or online banking password stolen. I don't even have pictures of my junk out there. Yet that happens to hundreds of millions of people every year. So how can you protect yourself? The company I trust to defend my online security and privacy is ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN secures and anonymizes your connection by encrypting 100% of your network data and hiding your IP address. That means nobody can record or access your online activity. Download the ExpressVPN app on your computer or smartphone, and then just use the internet the same way you normally would. You click one button in the ExpressVPN app, voila, you are now protected. ExpressVPN, it's great for accessing content from anywhere with VPN locations in 94 countries and blazing fast speeds as well. ExpressVPN is consistently rated the world's #1 VPN service for internet users. So, If you want the best in online protection, you want to free yourself from worries about hackers and spies, just head on over to ExpressVPN. The nice folks at ExpressVPN have now extended special pricing of less than $7 per month to all of my fans. So visit expressvpn.com/Ben to claim that discount. Again, that is expressvpn.com/Ben to learn more. Again, they are consistently rated the world's #1 VPN service for a reason. And it operates in the background of your computer seamlessly. It's not going to slow up your computer because they've got blazing fast speeds and VPN locations in 94 countries. You have nothing to lose. Pricing of less than $7 per month. ExpressVPN.com/Ben to claim your discount. Again, that is ExpressVPN.com/Ben to learn more. Go check it out right now. Okay, so we read you Politico's take. Here's the New York Times' take. You ready for this? On this idiotic plan that legitimately says we're going to pay people not to work. Quote, liberal Democrats formally call for a Green New Deal, giving substance to a rallying cry. Now, you may be wondering, did AOC write this piece for the New York Times? No, she didn't actually. It turns out it's written by Lisa Friedman and Glenn Thrush, both top-notch reporters at the wonderful, incredible New York Times. Listen to how this is covered. Liberal Democrats put flesh on their Green New Deal slogan on Thursday with a sweeping resolution intended to redefine the national debate on climate change by calling for the United States to eliminate additional emissions of carbon by 2030. The measure, drafted by freshman Representative AOC and Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts, is intended to answer the demand by the party's restive base for a grand strategy that combats climate change, creates jobs, and offers an affirmative response to the challenge to core party values posed by President Trump. The resolution has more breadth than detail and is so ambitious that Republicans greeted it with derision. Well, no, actually, we greeted it with derision not because it's ambitious, but because it legitimately has no plan for achieving anything that it says it wants to achieve other than completely destroying the United States economy. Other than that, it's great. Its legislative prospects are bleak in the foreseeable future. Speaker Nancy Pelosi of California has no plan to bring the resolution in its current form to the floor for a vote, according to a Democratic leadership aide. Why? Because Nancy Pelosi still has two brain cells to rub together. But listen to the New York Times. As a blueprint for liberal ambition, it was breathtaking. Imagine that Republicans said, we have a plan. Here's our plan. Full employment for everyone, taxes of 0, and abolition of 7/8 of the federal government. No details, just that. Do you think they would be talking about how it's breathtakingly ambitious? You think that's where that would go? It's breathtakingly ambitious? I mean, media bias is this is nauseating stuff. Nauseating. Now, it's hilarious is that the New York Times suggests that Nancy Pelosi's on the wrong side of history. People online yesterday, it was delicious. I mean, it was so delicious, as Neon Taster put it, that it must be fattening. People online, on the left, were suggesting that Nancy Pelosi is now a climate denier because she was not supportive enough of the Green New Deal. But the New York Times reports, Ms. Pelosi is likely mindful of her own past mistakes. A decade ago, she pushed the last major climate change measure hard, an ambitious bill to cap emissions of climate warming pollution. She got a cap-and-trade measure through the House. The next year, Democrats were swept from power. So now she's afraid, but she is letting her critics on the left know about her own past efforts and saying she's making climate change the flagship issue of her first speakership. Proponents of the Green New Deal insist that Democrats are unified. Ocasio Cortez said, I think it is a green dream, because Pelosi kind of dismissed it yesterday. Pelosi said, well, I'm enthusiastic. Here's what Nancy Pelosi had to say, because she's not a complete dolt when it comes to, running the Congress. Here's what she had to say yesterday about the green dream.
Is the Green New Deal proposal a useful baseline?
Quite frankly, I haven't seen it, but I do know that it's enthusiastic, and we welcome all the enthusiasms that are out there. The Green New Deal points out the fact that the public is much more aware of the challenge that we face, and that is a good thing, because the public sentiment will help us pass the most bold common denominator, the bold initiatives. I'm very excited about it all, and I welcome the Green New Deal and any other proposals that people have out there.
Okay, what she actually means there is, I don't welcome the Green New Deal. This is a very stupid thing, but I'm going to pretend to be enthusiastic because I don't want people yelling at me. That's really what she is saying there. Now, what's hilarious about all of this is that AOC can't even keep herself straight on what exactly this necessitates. So yesterday morning, she was asked whether, in fact, this Green New Deal would necessitate massive government intervention. And again, for all the people out there saying that she is savvy and smart, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I mean, if you are of the view that AOC is some sort of brilliant newcomer, I'm going to play you 2 clips in a row, and you got to tell me how exactly she's a genius. Here she goes, saying that maybe this might necessitate massive government intervention.
As you know, Congresswoman, one reason that people who are politically conservative are skeptical of efforts to combat climate change is that it sounds to them like it requires massive government intervention, which they just don't like. Are you prepared to put on the table that, yes, actually, they're right. What this requires is massive government intervention?
It does. It does. Yeah, I have no problem saying that.
Fast forward about 6 hours. Here is AOC with Meet the Press's Chuck Todd.
One way that the right does try to mischaracterize what we're doing as though it's like some kind of massive government takeover. Obviously, what we're trying to do is, well, obviously it's not that, because what we're trying to do is release the investments from the federal government to mobilize those resources across the country.
You know, in the real world, we call that being a damned liar, right? I mean, we just call that being a liar. Like within 6 hours, she goes from, sure, it's a massive government intervention. And then after the blowback, she's like, well, no, these Republicans, they're pouncing. They keep characterizing it as a massive government takeover. It's not a massive government takeover. It's a massive government intervention. But sorry, I shouldn't say that. It's not a massive government intervention. It's unleashing investment. It's unleashing investment. So we're all supposed to take her seriously. We're all supposed to pretend she's not a damn liar. She's a damn liar because all you have to do is read the words on her own website, which were so stupid that her own campaign had to take them off her website. She memory holed her own 6-page proposal yesterday. But we're supposed to believe, according to the media, that it's an act of genius. And also, we are not supposed to ask,